friends, it's Jane from Earth Care Farm, and I was planting some things today and I thought I would just show you what we're doing. So we're going to plant some basil. Basil is a favorite crop here at Earth Care Farm. My mom, Betty, makes an amazing pesto, and it's something that we survive on all winter long. It's so good. So we do a lot of basil, and just like we did with the cucumbers, we plant these in successions. So this is our first round. I'm actually a little bit late, but basil is very tender, so you do have to be careful. It can't even take temperatures of 40 degrees, so you gotta wait till it's warm. Like today is actually very hot. So this will be our first of probably 3, maybe 4 rounds of basil, and I'll keep filming as I plant new batches of that. So this is, I'm just gonna have 3 left to plant. They're about a foot apart. These guys are gonna become bushes about this high, about this wide. I'll show you how we prune them. I do have a video from last year if you're interested in that now, if your plants are bigger than mine. 1. Again, I don't really measure, you know what a foot is. It's about that, it doesn't have to be exact. I want this to be fun and easy, not something you stress about. There we go, okay, 3 plants in. We're now gonna go over to the beans. We're gonna seed some beans today. Let's head over there. Thanks to Caitlin for filming, my niece. As we're going by, we've got carrots that have just started to come up, and these have been in the ground for like a good month and they're barely doing anything, but soon they'll take off as the temps rise here. All right, so here's my beans. Beans, again, I'm gonna plant beans every 2 weeks this summer, and I don't plant a lot. It's a lot of picking when they start coming in, so you'll be happy that you only did 10 or 12 feet at a time, and then just keep planting them every 2 weeks. You'll have this nice continuous supply of green beans all summer. This is Provider green beans, Provider bush green beans, a tried and true standard. I've been growing these for at least 25 years. Amazing green bean, very productive. And I've made a little trough here. I just did it with my rake, let me just show you. I prep my bed like you've seen me do many times. Make my furrow. Again, plant your seed twice as deep as the seed is big. So for us, let's look at a bean seed. They're not very big, but they're one of the bigger seeds actually. And this is how I do. This soil is nice and nutritious, so it'll be able to support this amount of beans. If you're just starting out enriching your soil, you might want to do it a little less thick. This says 1 inch deep, 3 inches apart in rows, 2 to 3 inches apart. This is just what I do. Nice and simple. You have 10 minutes in between your Zoom meetings. This is a good thing to do. Cover your bean up. Give them a good drink after this too. And see, I've got them set down. They're in a little bit of a furrow. It's a little higher here, so that when you do water, the water will settle right in that furrow, keep them hydrated. I've then got, this is marking my 2nd row. This is a beautiful runner bean. And then in 2 weeks, I'll plant more here. One thing I wanted to show you about this bed, a nice old soil that you've been making better every year, will start to show signs of fungal activity. These are just some mushrooms popping up alongside the bed. This is some amazing fungal activity. See all those little white mycelium hairs? That's kind of like the root of the fungus. It's just a nice higher life form to find in your soils. You know you're doing something right when you find that in there. So keep that in there for the beans, the next round of beans. Let's go over to broccoli. As we go by, this is another one of my favorite plants. This is called lovage. It tastes just like celery. It's a very strong celery flavor, and it's what was used originally in Bloody Marys. It has a hollow stem. I don't have a knife on me right now, but it has a hollow stem when you let me see if I can get it. Look at that. You can put that in your Bloody Mary, chop it here, and use it like a straw, and it's just a delicious addition to a tomato juice kind of beverage. But also, it's just gorgeous. Look at how big it is. All right, so we're here at broccoli. I was almost finished planting, and I thought I would wait and show you guys. Let me get my trowel. Hold on 1 second. Here I am. Back again. So, these are my little broccoli plugs. some people have been struggling to get plugs out of trays. One helpful hint is just to pinch at the bottom a little bit and pull it out like that. These have nice white roots. That's what you want to see in a seedling. Nice white root hairs. This is a row of broccoli here, nice tender green. This is called tender green broccoli. Again, I would go, you'll be amazed at how big these plants are, but I would say a minimum of 1 foot. 1.5 feet, 1 foot for these guys. And boom, that's about it. Same kind of thing, we've left a little bit of a cup in there so that when we do water, the water will stay in there. Oops, I forgot one. I'll put this one on the end. This is actually a good place to stop and talk about weeds. Weeds are just any plant that's growing where you don't want it. Technically this is a weed, it's an allium flower, but I've left it. I just sometimes have a hard time weeding because it's really beautiful. It's gonna get these huge pom-pom flowers that the honeybees, which are right over there, just really adore. So although it's in the way of my broccoli and they'll have to compete a little bit, I'm leaving them all to kind of fend for themselves. The other thing I want to show right here is throughout my garden I've planted marigolds and nasturtiums, which are just amazing at attracting beneficial insects. So I've peppered them all throughout the garden, and you'll see in about a month how beautiful that is to see this just orange and yellow and vibrant reds flowering throughout the garden, attracting all sorts of wonderful things. The more life in your garden, the more balance you're going to bring, the better your garden's going to do. So, broccoli, what should we do next? Let's do our peppers. Put your step here, please. I'm a little late on peppers. Today is May 26th, I believe. But it has been pretty cool, and so we're just gonna go for it. I'll show you why I'm happy I waited. So these are peppers. This is the orange bell pepper. Interestingly enough, all peppers ripen to a color. Even the green bells, they're just not ripe peppers that could turn red or orange or yellow. So we're gonna plant this not as deep as our tomatoes, but similar to our broccoli where there's a little bit of a cup, so when we water that will stay in there. But it's pretty much the same level as the soil is, how it would be in the pot. Those of you who have our raised bed mix, it looks just like this. You can dig really easily like this. Orange bell. The other pepper I like to do is the lunchbox sweet bell peppers. They're just a smaller bell pepper, and they are, just like they say, they're great in a lunchbox. All right, orange bell. Nice. All right. I want to show you some failures too. I've been gardening my whole life, professionally for 20 years, and it's never a good season for every crop because it's either too cold for some or just the right coolness for others. And so we just have to honor that and don't beat ourselves up when things go awry. I'm going to show you my eggplants here. Last Wednesday, it did get down to about 38 degrees, which was fine for most things, but my eggplants really suffered. These two in particular really had a hard hit from those cold temperatures. So I am going to actually just replace them. I have backup plants. If this happens to you, you can let them you can try to see if they'll pull through. But for me, I've just experienced it so many times that I just want to replace them because this is valuable space you have in your gardens. And these can return back to the compost pile and become part of the garden again in a different way. These ones did okay. It's just this variety, the Japanese eggplant, they just must be a little more tender, and they'll be stressed the whole season, so I'm just gonna preemptively kind of change them out. Sad but true, but also just the way the garden is. Don't beat yourself up. Not everything's gonna do well. But for the most part, things are doing great in here. I'm really excited about the way the peas are looking. The tomatoes are slow, but they're coming beautifully. The chamomile is amazing. The basil looks good. Garlic is amazing this year. I'm just excited for you guys to be excited about your abundant gardens. So, I don't know, we'll keep it going. Thanks so much.